Hey guys, today I am behind the wheel of a 2014 BMW 550i xDrive. So this is a 5 Series of the F10 generation, not the brand new one. The lineup for the 5 Series when this generation was out went 528, 535, the 550, and then the M5. So this sits up towards the top end. Before we start talking about anything else though, I do want to remark on the biggest thing I notice every time I get in like a modern 5 Series is how gigantic they have become. This thing is pretty much the size of a 7 Series from like a generation or two ago, especially in my mind comparison to an E39 M5, which I had once spent a long time with. This thing is enormous. A modern 3 Series is about the size of an E39 5 Series. So now a modern 5 Series now is pretty much the size of like a 7 Series back then. So it's a large vehicle. More specifics for the 550. This thing is cool because it has the same 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8 that's found in the M5 and the M6. And this car is detuned down a little bit. Originally, when it first launched, I think it was 400 horsepower. In the mid-cycle refresh update that they did, BMW calls it LCI. I believe that's what this would be. But it's up to, for the 2014 model year, 445 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque, which is pretty good. You just ride the gigantic wave of torque. That 480 number is really impressive. Similar transmission, 8-speed ZF automatic. The big key thing is the xDrive. So for me, I think a lot of the competition between the 5 Series comes with the different engine trims and then like the all-wheel drive system. So a big downside, in my opinion, of the F10 M5 was its rear-wheel drive. I almost bought an M6. I test drove one, and it just would constantly just light up the rear wheels. It just struggled to put the power down. So the latest generation M5 has gone to an all-wheel drive system. So with the 550, you could get the same engine drivetrain with all-wheel drive. I have a very good friend of mine, Jeff. He has a 650i Grand Coupe, fully built, more power than an M6, all-wheel drive. It is a rocket ship. That's really cool. This car is purely stock right now, so let's evaluate it as it is. Again, I already mentioned the powertrain. It's a good amount of power. It's quick enough, 0 to 60 in the upper 4-second range, I believe. So let's talk about this car as is. It's 100% stock. The powertrain is very smooth. Again, I said the torque. You just ride them on the torque. This transmission shifts flawlessly. It's a great automatic torque converter transmission. The all-wheel drive system puts the power down effectively, and I mean, it goes. Oh, this thing is definitely quick. It is very, very quick. More so on the driving, though. The older 5 Series went more towards the direction of building a sportier driving sedan. I mean, BMW's slogan was the ultimate driving machine. The 5 Series is, in my opinion, less so, especially of the F10 generation. It shares a lot of the underpinnings, and it was developed kind of in concurrence with the 7 Series, which is not even supposed to be sporty at all. That's the luxury limousine executive vehicle. And this 5 Series is large. I already said that it's very large. I mean, it's comfortable, but I mean, it's so isolated from the road. I feel like I could be in a 7 Series. It's extremely quiet. The ride is very nice. I barely hear any wind noise. Even when I floor it, you just get this hum as you just proceed forward. The steering doesn't really inspire you to want to be sporty like an E39 5 Series would be. The body roll is not as good as like something that's supposed to be sporty. So overall, I mean, just the way you feel when driving this car is you don't want to be an exuberant. You want to be a mature adult in your luxury 5 Series. And there's nothing wrong with that if you know that's what you're getting into with this car. If we talk about exterior styling, I like the F10 5 Series. It looks good. It doesn't particularly inspire extreme excitement to me. Even the M5, I didn't really love the way it looked. Now the M6 and the 6 Series Grand Coupe, on the other hand, those were drop dead gorgeous. You really can't tell that much from the 550 to the 535 to the 528 unless you've like owned all of them and know them very, very, very closely. I mean, exhaust tips, the badging, obviously, and then maybe like wheel options and things like that. It's very hard to tell. They kind of all look the same, and there's a lot of them out there. So if you're looking for something to stand out, look really, really unique, I don't think the 5 Series is quite the right option for you. Hell, even an M5, I don't think really looks that much more aggressive than a loaded up 5 Series. On the inside, it's, again, like always, it's all typical BMW. It's the same window switches, same buttons, everything. For this car, though, it's nice. The iDrive knob is, like, trimmed and it's nice. This might be the ceramic option package, actually. I'm not sure. But The little details are done pretty nicely. I don't think BMW interiors age quite as well as some of the other ones out there. They have this hybridized like screen and conventional dial mechanical thing layout for the center cluster. Latest ones have gone to more of the whole full screen type of thing. iDrive, I personally like iDrive, but it's possible that I got really comfortable with iDrive having owned the BMW for 2 years. It's really familiar to me. Space, it's very spacious. Very, very spacious. I am quite comfortable sitting in this car. It makes my S4 feel very cramped in comparison, but obviously it is a size up. The rear seat legroom is great too. As a full-size adult, I got back in there to set up a camera on the back seat, and I was like, oh, this is pretty comfortable. Has lots of the tech you'd want. I mean, a 550i was not a cheap vehicle. Okay, now since I just went over some big bumps, you can still feel them throughout the whole body. It's not really smooth like something of like. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. Like an air suspension car. Honestly, I think the RS7 still rides better in comfort mode. This thing is quick. It gets up and goes. But the interior is very spacious, very comfortable, and it's very well isolated. I think that's my biggest takeaway. This, for some reason, feels more solid and quiet and just more luxurious than the 535 I was driving. Part of it is the smoother, creamy, the torque from the powertrain, but it does feel a little bit better than that 5 Series. Now, this is a pretty low mileage example. It's only at 37,000 miles for 2014, so that's, I would say, below average being driven, but it's holding up very nicely. If we talk about value, this car, you can get these for mid-30s. If you go really high miles in the older like a 2012 or something like that, a 5 Series, they would definitely drop in price. And you're shopping in a range where these, when brand new, were deep into the, 60, 70, 80, $90,000 vehicle price range. And now they've come down to a fraction, less than half of the original MSRP. When they're well taken care of and had the maintenance done, this could be a very, very good buy for, you get pretty much, to the casual observer, they won't know if this is a brand new 5 Series or a 2-generation old 5 Series. I don't think most people would be able to tell. It's got the signature BMW styling. So I think it is a very good value. Personally, I think certified pre-owned luxury vehicles are an excellent choice. My S4 was like that. You avoid some of the depreciation hit. You're still going to get some because it's CPO and it's still relatively new, but you then get to keep an extended warranty, and that offers a little peace of mind, because with high-end German vehicles, when things break, and they will, it will be very, very expensive. But if we talk about the merits of this car specifically, you get the all-wheel drive system with xDrive, which is pretty good. You get the pretty much M5 M6 powertrain detuned a little bit, and if you want to make it fast, there are mods available to make it very, very fast, because again, it's pretty much the same engine. So it's quick, smooth, very comfortable, has the tech you would want. I'd say the biggest downsides, in my opinion, are that it doesn't evoke a lot of excitement when you drive it. But if you're looking for just a luxury daily sedan, that's not a huge deal. Personally, I think I'd rather get an M3, but you wouldn't have all-wheel drive. So again, that's how I ended up in my S4 specifically. But again, the driving dynamics and the feel you get is a less than stellar experience. The other downside is the styling, to me, doesn't do as much. My favorite color isn't silver on a car. It looks fine on this vehicle, the silver wheels and everything. But I think the thing is, it doesn't really stand out to you from an appearance standpoint. But okay, I can be okay with that 480 pound-feet of torque pushing you along. Wow, that is enjoyable. So overall verdict, the F10 550i as a luxury cruiser, luxury sedan, I think is really good. It's got the tech features you want. I'm really impressed at how this thing is riding, and the isolation, there is really no wind noise. Solid powertrain. Again, the powertrain is great. Good brakes. I like the solid feel of the brake pedal. It's not an exciting vehicle, but it doesn't have to be if that's what you're getting into. If you want something a little more fun, maybe jump into like a 335, an F80 or something like that. Or I heard the latest 5 Series, which I have not driven yet, I really need to, is a lot improved. This is a big, heavy car. It's like 95% of a 7 Series. That's how it feels to me. And I've spent a lot of time with 7 Series, and I love the 7 Series. But it's an awkward middle point. It's not quite as sporty and dedicated to being a sporty compact sedan like a 3 Series, but it's not quite all-out, top-end, fully luxury of the 7 Series. So it's right in the middle. I think at the used values these things are at, a good option. Check it out. I think this is cooler than the 535i, definitely cooler than the 528, which I feel like is too small of an engine for too big of a car. But you can't go wrong with a 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8, all-wheel drive, and that BMW badge up front, so you don't use your turn signals at any point whatsoever. You have to make sure to never use your turn signals and be a proper BMW driver. Overall, though, this has been cool. It's been a very relaxing review, filled with torque and acceleration, and a nice, comfortable ride. Hope you guys like this video. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks for watching.